All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really unique tool that's designed to close the communication gap between home, school, and a child's own development, and it does it all on a single sheet of paper.
And this quote, man, it gets right to the heart of it. This system wasn't cooked up in some corporate boardroom. It came from a father's very real, very direct need to build a more consistent and understandable world for his own kids.
So to really get why this tracker works so well, you kind of have to know the story behind it. It's this fascinating mix of professional expertise and just deep personal necessity.
So you've got Robert, the creator, right? He's coming at this from two totally different but super important angles. He's got over 18 years in the classroom, so he knows what actually works with students. But he's also a dad to two neurodivergent kids, so he understands the empathy and the consistency you need at home. This tool is basically where those two worlds collide.
And that's the whole philosophy right there. It's all about consistency, making sure that the expectations for a child, how to behave, how to interact, are the same whether they're sitting in a classroom or at the kitchen table. Because, real growth doesn't just stop when the school bell rings.
Okay, let's dig into the foundation of this thing, because everything, and I mean everything, hangs on this one simple distinction.
So you hear rule and you hear goal. They sound kind of the same, right? Well, in this system, they have totally different jobs. So what's the actual difference? And here's where it all clicks. Think of a goal as the big, kind of fuzzy destination. The what? Something like improve handwriting. Okay, great, but how? That's where rules come in. They're the how. They're the small, specific, actionable steps you can actually do, like keep letters on the line. It takes this giant, overwhelming idea and breaks it down into something you can practice every single day.
So how many of these do you need? Well, the creator found that 6 is pretty much the magic number. Why 6? Well, if you have any fewer, you might not be covering enough, but if you have any more, it just gets totally overwhelming. 6 seems to be that sweet spot for keeping things focused and manageable.
Okay, so we've got the rules, we've got the goals. How does a student actually use this thing every day? Well, the process is designed to build this really powerful but really simple habit of self-awareness.
The daily check-in is super simple, and that's on purpose. At the end of the day, the student just looks at their list, and for each one, they circle G for good, S for so-so, or P for poor. That's it. We're talking about maybe a dozen circles. It takes just a couple of minutes, but it builds this consistent, low-pressure habit of just thinking about your day.
And this is so important. This is not about getting all G's. It's not a report card. The real magic isn't in what letter they circle. It's in the act of just stopping for a minute to think about their own actions. That is the real victory here.
But the tracker is more than just circling letters. It's got these other tools built right in, like the focus bank. This part is designed to spark those deeper conversations and connect a big abstract idea like impulsiveness to something that actually happened during the day. You see how these all work together? They're all designed to tackle the same ideas but from different directions. Talking about a word like organization makes it personal. Interpreting a quote connects it to something bigger. It's that variety that keeps the whole process from feeling stale week after week. Now, this next part might just be the most powerful piece of the whole system. And what's interesting is, it has less to do with the student and more to do with getting all the adults in their life on the same team.
Okay, so on the back of the sheet, you've got this thing called the suggestion queue. The easiest way to think of it is like an asynchronous meeting. It's one central spot where all the feedback lives, which means no more endless email chains or games of phone tag.
The process itself is dead simple. Any adult can jot down a quick suggestion, tag it, and move on. But look at what it does. Suddenly, every adult can see what every other adult is seeing. So if 3 different teachers all suggest a rule about waiting your turn, that's not just random noise anymore. That's a really clear signal about what to focus on next.
And this is how you fix that classic problem of scattered feedback. You know, when one teacher says one thing and a parent says another, this system ends that. It turns all that sometimes conflicting advice into one focused plan. It literally gets everyone on the same page for the week ahead. All right, so let's zoom out for a second and see how all these pieces fit together. Because when you see it all connected, you realize this isn't just a worksheet. It's a whole, self-contained system that lives on one piece of paper. This really lays it out. You can see the whole weekly rhythm here. You've got these bookends for the week, setting the goals, and then gathering all the feedback. In between, you have that daily habit of self-reflection, and then you can sprinkle in those deeper conversations whenever you need them. It's a really smart, efficient workflow.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't about just checking off boxes on a worksheet, right? It's about building real, sustainable momentum. It's about helping a student see their own progress, understand their own challenges, and really take ownership of their own journey.
So, we come back to that big question. Can one simple sheet of paper really become a bridge between a child's worlds? Well, when it's built to foster reflection, to unify communication, and to create consistency, it makes a pretty compelling case. It proves that sometimes the most powerful tool isn't the most complex one.